It's April 22nd, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today. In this show, we're going to talk about strategies, Bitcoin gain updates, some interesting things there. We'll talk about how Bitcoin will catch gold. It's just a matter of time. Let's be honest, Saylor is in charge. I have put Michael Saylor in charge of some portion of my finances by investing in MSTR in strategy, and I'm good with that. And we'll talk about that more. We'll talk about how global M2 is absolutely ripping and what that could mean. I have 6 epic video clips of Michael Saylor. You don't want to miss these. This video is not financial advice. Please do comment below. Let me know where you're watching from, what you're thinking of the market. Just comment for support. Those comments mean the world. So thank you. And let's dive on in. Okay, today's first post from Michael Saylor. So far this month, MSTR Treasury operations have delivered a Bitcoin gain of $459 million to Strategy shareholders. That's you, that's me. And as you can see, this is a screenshot of strategy.com, where the Bitcoin price at the time he took this was $88,000. So far in the quarter, we've had a 1% yield quarter to date, because April 1st was when it started. As you can see, year to date, we're at 12.1%. And by the way, the goal for 2025 is 15%. You can see what happened in 2024 was 74%, which was insane. But Michael Saylor and Strategy were able to take advantage of some pretty sweet market conditions. And as you can see, the Bitcoin gain here and the Bitcoin yield to date in Bitcoin and in actual dollars. So a lot of good stats here. And I always appreciate how transparent Strategy is. And just thank you, Michael Saylor. Now, speaking of strategy, Bitcoin is winning. Bitcoin is the winning digital transformation. And I said, absolutely, yes. 140% 1 year, 43% 1 year return. Tesla's down at 58%. And then it just gets a little ugly from there. But hey, Bitcoin's winning the digital transformation, and Strategy is a leveraged Bitcoin play. Chris wants us to know that Strategy is a ship for stranded fiat capital that is either restricted or reluctant to flow into Bitcoin. And then you can see here's Michael Saylor looking at reluctant capital and looking at restricted capital, capturing them both, putting them on the Strategy ship. And this is what really excited me about Strategy when it finally clicked for me in that Q3 earnings report of 2024. I'm like, oh, this is what Michael Saylor is offering that nobody else can offer. He has built a moat that nobody will be able to penetrate. Nobody will be able to catch Strategy. He is currently, and we are currently as Strategy shareholders, in charge of a more Bitcoin than every single government in the world combined. Now that will change because governments will finally figure things out and start going crazy. But of course, that's only going to be of huge benefit to Strategy. Let's move on to Bitcoin Archive, who says Bitcoin is going to catch up to gold now that deleveraging is done, says Fundstrat's Tom Lee. This guy, he's a believer. I'm a believer in Tom Lee, so let's keep on going. The Bitcoin Therapist says, the whole MSTR dilution argument is simple for me. Do I think Michael Saylor is a better allocator of capital than myself? Yes. Therefore, I am giving him my capital to manage in my best interest. He is heavy incentivized to see share prices rise. Simple, in my opinion. And I agree with this statement 100%. I know that Michael Saylor is better at investing and allocating my capital than myself. And I'm so grateful and so thankful that he exists and that Strategy exists for all the reasons that I talk about all the time on the show. Now, Chris says, coming to a screen near you on Netflix, one man, one company, one coin, breaking fiat. And of course, this is just a play on Breaking Bad. And this is not actually a documentary that's coming, but this is still pretty funny. I wanted to share this because, hey, we're trying to have fun here as well. Bitcoin Therapist says global M2 versus Bitcoin. As you can see, it tracks pretty darn closely. Like if you don't think this is tracking pretty decently, then I don't know what to say. I think this is probably like either a 90 or 110 day offset. And on that, this is where global liquidity is right now. And this is Bitcoin at the offset of where Bitcoin is right now, but where we think it's going. So time will tell, but things are looking good when it comes to global liquidity for sure. Thank you. Now, I have some really great Michael Saylor video clips I'm going to play because these are just shorties, but they're golden. So sit back and enjoy.
You know, it was a $90 billion asset class in March of 2000 when I was first looking at it. And then by August, it was about $180 billion asset class. And right now, 4 years later, it's $1.8 trillion asset class. And I think it's going to 18 trillion, then 180 trillion, then it's going to go beyond that. So I think it's a very simple thing. I think Bitcoin is going to grow from 0.1% of the money in the world to 7% of the money in the world over the next 21 years. And of course, you should just go long and keep buying it.
0.1% to, you said 7%?
Yeah, it'll go from like 1.8 trillion to $240 trillion, and it'll go up 29% a year ARR. That is my base case.
And I've heard you say that in 21 years it's going to be at $13 million.
That takes you to 13 million a coin.
13 million a coin.
13 million a coin.
At 29%.
Every Bitcoin you don't buy is going to cost you $13 million, my friend.
You know, now that we've gotten there, now what? What's next?
Every day for the past 4 years, I've said, buy Bitcoin, don't sell the Bitcoin. I'm going to be buying more Bitcoin. I'm going to be buying Bitcoin at the top forever. I joked with Dave Portnoy today. He said, I missed it at 10,000. I missed it at 20,000. I missed it at 100,000. I said, Dave, it's still less than $1 million a coin. You're getting a 90% discount from $1 million a coin. I'm sure that I will be buying Bitcoin at $1 million a coin, probably $1 billion a day of Bitcoin at $1 million a coin. And so I think it's a very simple idea. It's just keep buying Bitcoin with your spare capital. It's going to appreciate against the dollar forever. A rational world is Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Apple. They all buy Bitcoin with their cash flows. I mean, Apple would be worth an extra $1 trillion, right? If Apple basically started buying 20, $30 billion a year of Bitcoin, you know, they spent 500 billion on their stock. Where would Apple be if they bought 500 billion worth of Bitcoin right now? I mean, granted, it was over a 10-year time period, but if you look at that, right, how do you increase the market cap of Apple or Meta by $1 trillion? And the answer is you start to take your cash flows and your treasury, and then you buy a capital asset that's plus 40% a year instead of one that's minus 4% a year. And when that happens, you can see in our macro model, the equity market's going to look good, right? That's going to put a boost in the S&P and the NASDAQ and the Magnificent Seven. So it's not, you know, I guess my point is I don't want to be a doomer like Bitcoin good, everything else bad, because the truth is you could say Bitcoin good, equity bad, and bonds bad. But if I actually back the bonds with Bitcoin, and if I back the currency with Bitcoin, and if I back the equity with Bitcoin, then they're all going up, right? So it's like just Bitcoin better, and everything else is actually going to grow. And that's the argument for Bitcoin just makes the world a better place, right? It's the constructive, cheerful, progressive, grow out of your own problems with a good technology, you know, vision, as opposed to, you know, this nation is going to melt down its currency and its banks are going to melt down and we're all just going to jump on a lifeboat.
All right, some great Michael Saylor clips, and we have a couple great more coming as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors. Online shopping has never been easier, but this ease is new enough that we remember a time when entering all our credit card info every time we purchased something online was the norm. Luckily, we don't have to do that anymore thanks to Shopify. That's right, that purple Shop Pay button that makes it seamless to purchase online is powered by Shopify. And Shopify doesn't just make it easy to buy, it makes it incredibly easy to start a business no matter your experience. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, and they make it super easy to get up and running with beautiful, ready-to-go templates and built-in marketing and email tools. Worried about tracking inventory, payments, and analytics? No stress. Shopify helps you manage it all from a single dashboard. And back to that iconic purple Shop Pay button, it's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/MSTR. Go to shopify.com/MSTR, shopify.com/MSTR. So check it out. I know we're all looking to stack more Bitcoin and MSTR, and to do that, we need more fiat. So let's chat about our sponsor, ShipStation. We all know the market can seem pretty chaotic at times, but if you're in charge of order fulfillment for your business, you already understand chaos. While we might not be able to help calm the chaos in the market, ShipStation is here to help when it comes to shipping and fulfillment. I've used ShipStation to easily automate shipping to customers around the globe. My favorite part about the platform, managing orders in one simple dashboard makes an otherwise massive task feel pretty darn simple. Plus, ShipStation not only integrates with the services and selling channels you already use, it's also the fastest, most affordable way to ship products to your customers. ShipStation hooks you up with discounts up to 88% off UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates, and up to 90% off FedEx rates. Calm the chaos of order fulfillment with the shipping software that delivers. Switch to ShipStation today. Go to shipstation.com/MSTR to sign up for your free trial, or click the pinned comment below this video. That's shipstation.com/MSTR. And thank you for supporting our sponsors that allow myself and my team to continue to produce these daily videos for you for free. Now back to the show.
I think when you've concluded that your conventional financial approaches and conventional business approaches are hopeless, like I hate to be, what is the word, dramatic, but I actually think you need to get to the point where you believe that it's hopeless to continue along the present path. And it's like asking the question, what's the characteristic of people that embrace a new cancer therapy? Well, the ones that have concluded they're going to die in 12 weeks if they don't. So if you've got a zombie company, or you have a company if you're competing head to head with a big tech monopoly or any kind of monopoly, when would you discover Bitcoin? You run a yoga studio and the government shuts down yoga studios for the next 4 years everywhere in the world, and your revenue goes to zero. Then you might discover Bitcoin, right? If the government shuts down your business with a law, with a regulation, or when a monopoly forms that makes it impossible for you to compete, then you've got nothing to lose, everything to gain. You're already going to zero. So I think those are the people that embrace this, those that realize that they don't have a future unless they embrace a new idea. And that takes us to truth 20. If it's an energy network, I can reverse it. Bitcoin becomes a digital defense system. Bitcoin is the most powerful network. What's the unit of power? The exahash. If I actually place my cryptographic keys, my identity, my authentication behind that hash wall, behind that wall of digital energy, then I can secure a system, authenticate a system, defend a system, potentially even attack a system. You can't be a superpower if you lose control of your airspace. You can't be a superpower if you lose control of outer space. You can't be a superpower if you lose control of cyberspace. Control of the digital power network, the mining network, the hash network is control of the ability to move energy and capital from point A to point B. Control the network, control your destiny. Lose control of the network, you lose the ability to engage in digital commerce. Maybe you lose the ability to secure your cyber systems. It's a defense system. And with that, I'll end with my final truth, truth 21. Bitcoin is an emerging solar system. Everybody says it's a network, and then they go, yeah, I read something about Metcalfe's law. And Metcalfe's law is like knowing enough to hurt yourself. It's not a Metcalfean network. It's a Newtonian network. Bitcoin is an evolving network. Think a star system forming. There is matter, there is energy. It's the brightest thing in the financial universe. It's got a magnetic field. It is slurping energy, capital, into the magnetic field. There are objects in orbit. They're falling into orbit around it. All of you are in orbit around it to a certain extent. Every company, every country, every actor. It is getting more powerful. It will continue to get more powerful. It will continue to get brighter, right? a Metcalfian idea is like a little asteroid went past on the left and a white dwarf went past on the right, and they're both equal. Well, they're not equal. The white dwarf is going to suck the atmosphere off my planet, and the little asteroid is irrelevant. It's like a cute little shooting star. It made a little spark for me, right? This is not a little Metcalfian network. This is a network where when someone brings $1 billion to the network, it matters. When they bring 10 billion, it matters more. When they bring 100 billion, it matters more. The more capital, the more energy that flows in the network, the more powerful, the greater the gravitational field. Eventually, anyone in the orbit, right, has to adjust their trajectory in order to accommodate that gravitational field. You see this thing coming to life in front of you. It's going to have Newtonian dynamics, and it is an energy system emerging. And these are the 21 truths. Thank you for your time.
And there you have it, another episode of MSTR Today. And here's my receipt from yesterday. As you can see, I bought a 0.658 share of MSTR. I managed to catch the top. If you want to congratulate me, thank you. At $320. That was a $210 purchase. And this is just another purchase in my daily, every trading day, $210 of MSTR for the entirety of 2025. Every Sunday, I give the entire portfolio update. For the first time last Sunday, I was actually in the green for the first time in a long time. So good things there. And we'll see what this Sunday brings. But remember, things are about to move. Now, we don't know what direction, of course. I think we know what direction we're hoping for, but things seem to be coming to a head in a good way. So we'll see what happens, but just be prepared. You need to be prepared for the upside, just like you need to be mentally prepared for the downside. Don't get shaken out too low, and don't hit the eject button too soon. I mean, it's a tough balance, but by surrounding yourself with the right people, because you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, you're going to put yourself in the best position to win. And everybody's version of winning is different. Your version of winning is going to be different than my version of winning, is going to be different than Saylor's version of winning, and so on and so forth. So have a number in mind that you're excited about. Maybe it's a forever investment. You just want to see where strategy goes with at least X number of shares. And maybe there is a number that you do want to hit that eject button, at least on some of the shares, to take some profit off the table, to make some lifestyle changes, whatever that might be. And that's okay. But I'm going to be here every day giving you 15 minutes of great updates on MSTR, of Bitcoin, Michael Saylor inspiration, his thoughts, his processes, because I believe the path we're on is inevitable. That's bull with a capital Bitcoin B. And like Michael Saylor says, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.